Welcome to Red 35. Today we're comparing these two massive lenses, but I don't know what they are. Jimmy?
Well, the big one is the 35 to 100 f2 Pro, and the smaller one is 14 to 150 f2.8 Pro.
Okay, thanks Jimmy.
So today we have a special guest, Saori, and introduce yourself.
My name is Saori Okuno. I'm from Japan but live in UK. So
Yeah, I think about
meet you.
think about sushi all the time when it's yeah, sushi is nice.
Yeah, all in my head. Yeah, all the time. I'm thinking about sushi.
Bring me some Japanese snacks. I think next time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For you?
I love Japanese snacks, especially something with wasabi in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
You like spicy then?
Yeah, spice up your life with these two lenses. Right, today we're going to look at these two massive bazooka lenses. That's what you call it.
Bazooka lenses.
That is definitely a weapon because it's so massive and so heavy. So, you know, these two lenses actually have a lot of similarity. They're both Olympus made, Olympus lenses, and that one is actually made for the older system, the original DSLR technology, the 4/3 lenses. This is the latest and the greatest in the equivalent terms for the micro 4/3 platform.
Okay.
So in terms of range, it's slightly different, but they are all aiming for that kind of long range shot where you want to do a little bit of close-up or portraits in general or some sort of action thing. So that particular lens, you know, was introduced to replace to kind of make it the equivalent of the full frame 70 to 200, which is a very popular range for a lot of wedding photographer, portrait photographer, you know, to do that type of shoots. So that was the equivalent of that on the 4/3 platform. But when everything changed to micro 4/3 and they introduced this lens, which is the 40 to 150, which is actually a little bit longer in terms of focal length compared to that, but it has similar effects. But the major difference is not only just the size and weight, is the aperture. So that one is f2. This is 2.8. You probably don't know what they are. No. One will make it the background thing a little bit blurry. Yeah, you know, which a lot of people like. And then this one's slightly less so. We're going to look at the strengths and weaknesses of each of these two lenses.
Yeah, please.
And we're going to take some portrait of this beautiful Saori as our model today. She wants to see which lens will make her look a bit more beautiful.
Well,
which one do you think it will make you look better?
this one, I guess.
Why?
I don't know, looks more handy. So, more stable.
More stable. Okay, well, we shall see. We shall see.
We're in the middle of something burning. Could it be our love? I never know what's gonna happen. Standing next to you, I feel my chemicals react.
Obviously, the size is, you know, quite a bit different.
Yeah.
And of course weight as well. This thing really is a heavy beast.
It is.
Yeah, and you know, like compared to the micro 4/3 cousin, and then let's make it easier. You hold this one.
Okay, thank you, finally.
Which is a lot lighter. Okay, cover the little bum hole, and then okay, so yes. So this massive beast, in terms of focal length, I mentioned in the full frame world is 70 to 200 equivalent, while that one is actually 80 to 300, so which is a lot longer. So that means you can zoom in a lot closer. So you got that a huge flexibility there, like from 80 to 300, which is a massive range in any professional standard. So you can actually quite good in terms of like sometimes we need to do hair shot, and suddenly you want to change it back to shoulder shot or like maybe half length. That lens can like do it like either like everything and simultaneously without having to move in and out. This one you lose that long end is like 70 to 200, so you lose at least 100 millimeters in full frame term for the reach. So like, you know, it's not as far as that one, but that's the coolest thing about this particular lens is it has an f2 aperture. The bigger the aperture, the blurrer the background.
Right.
You know, some people like that. You know, if you're into like bokeh, this thing will give you that thing. And being a slightly older lens is slightly different rendering, so it's beautiful to shoot portrait actually. So let's talk about build quality. And you held these two lenses individually.
Yep.
What do you think of them?
Oh, just this one's so heavy. That's it.
That's it. Well, it is true. You know, this thing weighs a ton. You know, and you've seen our previous review on this lens, and that's one of my major complaints: the weight of these things. It's just heavy, and size. I guess, you know, it's a lot bigger as well compared to this one. But I think it's no more different than the full frame lenses. They're about the same. And of course it's metal, that's why it's very cold. And it's very cold, and both of them are very, very solidly built. That's put together. And great thing today is raining, but like you don't have to worry about that. It's because all of these are waterproof. That one particular is freeze proof. So that means, yeah, freeze proof. Well, Olympus claimed that you can use in anything under -10 is fine. So that is a very good lens if you go to very hostile environment like Antarctica and things. Like if you happen to shoot portraits in a freezing condition, that's the lens to use. This is weatherproof, so it rains nothing, and they didn't claim this lens to be freeze proof though. So I wouldn't probably take this lens to Antarctica as such. You can bring a portable heater perhaps. Yeah, you know, like right next to you can just shoot it like that. But apart from that, I think it's very decent. And of course, this is a 4/3 lens. It's not a micro 4/3 like that one. So if you want to use this lens on the latest body, you need to have a little translator there to make it work. But overall, it's no complaining in terms of Olympus build quality. They are as solid as ever. Especially these two are top grade professional lenses, so they are awesome.
Awesome.
Let's talk about image quality, because I think, you know, for any photographers or enthusiasts, you know, of course you're spending a lot of money on a lens, you want to know about how they perform, or at least the end results. I can guarantee that these two lenses produce top quality images. And if I would grade them, I think they're very equal. Not because of bokeh quality or anything like that. It's just overall image quality. They both are very, very good. Sharpness is excellent, especially the newer one, because it's built and tailored for the latest generations of bodies. This lens is tailored, well, it's designed for the older DSLR technologies, and so its performance is not as fast as this, definitely, but the rendering also slightly kind of I would consider the more classic Olympus look. That's definitely more modern, more clinical. When I say clinical, it means that, you know, when it's sharp, it's like punchy sharp. It's like really sharp. Like, you can see the lines and everything. Well, this is more like softer, creamier. You know, it just you know, definitely better for portrait for me anyway. I think it's great. So image quality, top marks. We kind of all said it all along that this thing's a heavy beast.
Yeah.
So of course it affects the handling because it's so big and heavy. You know, but if you are coming from the DSLR background, you know, this thing is nothing. You know, like it is. DSLRs are big cameras. You know, the lenses are huge as well. You know, and so if you're used to that sort of background, this is nothing to you. But if you're starting out, you know, from smaller cameras or like micro four thirds is your first system, you'll probably find this lens a little bit too much.
I can guarantee. Yeah.
You can guarantee. So it does affect handling even with a bigger body like the M1 Mark II. Even with the grip, it's still find it's going to be a little bit more front heavy. So you always have to hold the lens like this. Yeah, it's going to be really difficult to hold it one hand because it's just too heavy.
Right.
But that's why they included the tripod mount, so you can mount it on a tripod and things like that. So when you do like doing sports or things like that, you can actually do like this.
Oh.
So it's handy in a way. But for handheld shooting, this may not be the best lens for it, just because it's so heavy. By comparison, that's a lot smaller, a lot lighter, and it's a little dumbbell, but it's definitely lightweight compared to this. So this is very good because it's designed obviously for the Micro Four Thirds platform. So handling is perfect. These things, for that range, it's just top notch. In terms of performance, I kind of mentioned that this was the DSLR lens, so using a slightly older technology, you have to use a translator here. So that translation means that you will slow down the performance a little bit. So if you use this lens before on a 4/3 DSLR bodies, the performance would be good. But when you mount it on this, it will affect the autofocus speed slightly. So when you go to autofocus, it's not as quick as what this lens was originally designed for. But that thing, again, in terms of performance, it's like lightning quick. This thing is one of the quickest lenses to focus in Micro Four Thirds. So it's so instant that you can use it for filming, tracking, portraits, almost anything with this. Almost anything with this. So performance, again, I'm going shifting towards this lens. It's just brilliant lens. So Saudi, let me ask you a question. We've been photographing, we've been walking around with these lenses, regardless of image quality. It's just by taking it around. Which one would you prefer?
I still prefer this one.
Yeah. New. Light.
Yes. And I'm holding it.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't agree. I wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't disagree at all. You basically speak all the benefits of a Micro Four Thirds platform. They're always known for the portability, the size and weight issues. You can have that range in such a compact body, which is actually excellent. I do adore this lens. I take it to photo shoots a lot, just because of the flexibility I have for the range. This massive beast is heavy. But if I want to create something slightly special, and then I actually do think this is a really great portrait lens. And like you see in our previous review, this lens creates stunning images. Not that saying that it's not, and they all, I think, serve slightly different purposes. I would use this day in, day out as a workhorse lens, simply because it's designed for the latest system. So like I mentioned about the performance, it's just excellent. So I can rely on this lens a lot for all kinds of environment, all kinds of moving actions and things like that will perform. This thing, however, you have to take a little bit of care for it. You have to slow it down. Delicate. And so I think for me now, this lens is what I use it for portraits, special portraits and things like that. So it's actually great for that. But yes, this thing is really heavy, so I just cannot hold it for too long unless I really put it on a tripod. But ultimately, you can decide which sort of thing. After you see the images, you can decide what sort of image look that you prefer. And if you're primarily a portrait photographer, you have two choices. And then, but if you're mainly a sports action photographer, you really need something that performs. No, that one. This one. So that one, like I said, it's accurate, it's fast, so you can rely on that one. So if you're a professional that shoot a lot of action, that will be the one to use. And if you're a portrait, you do have a couple of choices. Although, having said that, if you remember our review, this lens is no longer in production. So if you can find it, it's definitely a great option. A little bit more expensive, but I do think that the image quality justify the price. Sure. There you go. And that's my conclusion. So hope you enjoyed the video, and remember to check out Saoli. We're going to put her social media link down in the description, and then she's
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. how do you say in Japanese that you are beautiful?
美しい。美しい。
美しい。美しい。
Thank you. ありがとうございます。
If you enjoyed the video, you just so remember to click this subscribe button
This way.
and turn on that bell thing that you be notified when we have a new video coming out. So stay tuned for more. I'm so cold. Look how gloves and scarf. Winter is coming. Slightly less so. We have two persons just walk past us without noticing us when they're filming. Alright. We're so touristy. Yay! Put our bag straight away in here. Oops.
Sell it.
Right, I'll start the whole like this now because it's getting heavy. Yeah.
Oh, baby. One smaller.
You're smaller.